Here we go!
I thought getting a haircut today. After all, the rule is that as a Sonic fan, you gotta look as sharp as Sonic himself. Problem is, the whole place felt like Windy Valley at how much it's been blowing over here. I thought I was about to get blown to Oz. But anyway, I happened to glance over at Twitter and got a surprise. Sonic Colors Ultimate has just received another update, putting it up to version 1.0.9. And this update contains a lot more than I was ready for, but I'm pleasantly surprised by. So, let's dive into this update and see what it brings. So first of all, this update adds a new set of cosmetics for Sonic called the Celebration Pack, which is a first because we've had a handful of updates of this game by now, but none of them have ever added new cosmetics for Sonic up until this one. That alone makes this update quite huge and very surprising. And just to clarify, it is not a separate DLC pack that you have to purchase in order to use it. You don't even need to drop any park tokens on any of these cosmetics. When you install the update, they're there for you to use right off the bat. Yo, thanks guys! The Celebration Pack includes the Burst Shoes, Burst Gloves, Fireworks Booth, and Fireworks Aura. They're quickly becoming a favorite of mine, and up until this point, my favorites were the Movie Sonic Aura and the Movie Sonic Booth, along with either Cosmic or Grid Gloves and Shoes. These, however, might be my brand new favorite, because man, they look all kinds of fire right now. Let's go, Sonic. So I had to equip these and rock them in this update video. And because I felt like being a bro, I decided to give you an up-close view of these cosmetics. Because, you know, the custom screen doesn't really allow me to do that, as all I can do is turn to the left or right, and I don't think that's good enough. So I jumped Tropical Resort and tried to produce an up-close view of Sonic using the camera to show off these cosmetics. Now that the camera is the most cooperative thing in this game, but hey, I tried. And there they are, so you can judge for yourself. Do you think these look fire, or do you think they could have done better? I'm leaning towards the first, but I want to know what you think. Next up, we got some quality of life changes to check out, and let me tell you, quality of life describes these accurately. From studying the pre-release footage, it had always been implied that Sonic Colors Ultimate would have the option to toggle the soundtrack, so that you could enjoy the new soundtrack or stick with the original as you'd known it since the days of Sonic Colors on the Nintendo Wii. But when the game dropped, no such option was to be found. But now, thanks to this update, you can go to the options satellite, scroll over to where it says settings, and you will see a brand new option called Other. You then scroll down to that, and chickadabooyah! There it is, the soundtrack toggle, which itself comes with 3 options: the ultimate music mix, the ultimate soundtrack, and the original soundtrack. I definitely enjoy some of the ultimate remixes, but others, yeah, I wasn't quite feeling them, so this option more than fits my needs. Also, they added 2 other features, the boost blur and the tutorial. The boost blur adds back the blur effect that typically plays when you use the boost mechanic. As for the tutorial, that primarily refers to the hint rings that you can run through in order to get advice from Tails, but you can now turn those off. By now I'm sure you know how to play the game, you don't really need Tails' input anymore. Next up, when you go to replay the cutscene for the game, it now goes full screen instead of forcing you to make do with a much smaller screen as if you were watching it on your phone. That was hilarious, but more so annoying. I don't always rewatch the cutscene, but sometimes I will just to kill some time, only because of how they originally were in Ultimate, I didn't really care to do so, but now that'll be a different story. Also, just like before, you can toggle the subtitles on and off while watching the cutscenes. Having said all of that, it's apparent from watching these again that these were definitely ported straight out of a Nintendo Wii and slapped over the modernized platform with barely any upscaling. Why exactly could they not remaster these like the rest of the game? So we'd asked this question multiple times by now and never really got an answer to that, so what can you do? The next change listed is improved stability on all platforms. I only have the game on PS4 and Switch, so I can only confirm about those 2, but so far the game seems to be running fine, apart from the apparent decrease in the frame rate of the Switch. I still cringe looking at that, but oh well, it's still playable at least. Well, mostly up until it lags and you end up getting your inputs eaten up. That's always a fun time, isn't it? But yeah, the game hasn't crashed on me since the update installed, whereas after I installed the last update, the game crashed at Aquarium Park almost immediately after. I shared a clip of this when it happened and couldn't help laughing about it. Next up, we got updates to specific enemy attack speeds. This one I can't really confirm because I never clarified which enemies were directly affected by this change. I took a couple looks at some of the enemies in the game already and didn't really notice anything different about them, except for one in particular that concerns a more specific change, which we'll get to later. Next, they've improved the green hover with ring dash functionality. This one I can 100% confirm, and to test it, I went to the 6th app of Starlight Carnival and tested it on the rings over there. There was one pathway of rings in particular that I would always fall out of when I use a hover wisp on that one. You can see in this clip I pulled from my Let's Play of Sonic Colors Ultimate when I played through Starlight Carnival. But now, when you use a hover wisp there, you won't fall out of any pathways or rings at all. You'll stick with it until you finish it up. And I could be crazy, but I think they sped up the hover wisp as well, so it covers the rings a lot faster when you use the light dash. Really love this change. It always got on my nerves having to restart the effect whenever I fell out of some rings, but now I no longer have to worry about that. Definite improvement to the gameplay experience. The next change is a Switch-specific update, but I can tell you right off the bat that this is BS because the same change has taken effect on the PS4 as well. I tested it to make sure that I wasn't going crazy, and so I can verify. The change here is improved visibility of Big Chaser attack visual effects, and just to remind you, the Big Chaser is the big purple badnik that you find at Aquarium Park and then Terminal Velocity. You gotta avoid him by quick stepping and boosting, unless you want to get lasered or smacked up close. Now, to fully explain this change, when you were trying to avoid this guy's lasers, you could see them on startup so you could react accordingly, except for the middle laser. That one you couldn't see at all before it fired, so it made avoiding it a lot harder than it needed to be. But thanks to this update, all 3 lasers have been equalized so you can now see each of them on startup and react accordingly, including the middle laser. He's still a pain in the neck, but this is a welcome change all the same. And for those of you that would like me to validate, I tested this change on the Switch as well because I had the game on Switch too. And yes, this same change was made there as well. Finally, to wrap up this list, they made various bug fixes throughout the game. They were not clear as to which bugs they fixed, however, so I can't really help you guys there. But I can tell you which bugs they did not fix. For example, when you go to Starlight Carnival at 3 and the game boots up, Sonic is seen landing well above the ground before he zips right down to it as he runs off to start the stage. It's been there since the game release, and they still haven't gotten around to addressing that. What in the world is up with that? There's also another bug that happens in that same stage, where the game sort of soft locks if you go to get the last red ring, and you don't fall down directly on top of the gold ring that spawns right underneath you. If that happens, and you get to the last section of the stage, you therefore cannot go backwards, which means that you've been locked out and you can't finish the stage, so you have to restart it. I think it's been there since the game released as well, and that too has not been addressed. It might be more a flaw with the game's level design philosophy, where once you finish with one part of a stage, the game's like, okay, you're done there, you have no need to go back here at all. And I'm like, bruh, give me my freedom of movement, please, I want to explore the whole stage whenever I want! I'm sure there are other bugs still out and about, so if any of you know what those are, feel free to let me know about them in the comments down below. But regardless, you do have to give it up to SEGA and Blind Squirrel for the admirable initiative they've shown in cleaning up the mess that we ended up with on release. This update is a huge step forward, especially the soundtrack toggle. I think it's kind of weird that it's the thing I'm the most hyped about with this update, but well, there you have it. That and the Celebration Pack cosmetics, those were super cool of them to add in as well. I wish they'd be a little clear on which bugs they're fixing, but at least they're trying, and that says something. I also love this dramatic improvement in their transparency for whenever they release an update for the game. Hopefully, this will remain a trend for future releases, including Sonic Frontier. And that about does it for the recent update to Sonic Colors Ultimate. It was definitely a surprise update, but a great one at that. I think Christmas definitely came early for us Sonic fans, if you guys know what I mean. And this just makes it better. Thanks to SEGA and Blind Squirrel for continuing to do everything they can to keep improving this game. We really appreciate it. And with that, I turn to you guys. What do you think about this update? Do you think it's a major step forward, or does it still leave a lot to be desired, like some more clarity on which bugs were fixed? Let me know in the comments down below what you think, and if you enjoy this video, consider subscribing and ringing that bell to stay up to date on all my Sonic videos, and leaving a like also helps. It goes a long way, in fact. I don't think I ever did a video covering an update to a game before, but I figured I would try something new and see how well it turns out. And for those of you that may be a while before you can boot up your copy of the code Ultimate, I figured I would give you a first-hand demonstration of what this patch changes. So in case you want the confirmation for yourself, well, there you go. Hopefully it helped you out. Anyway guys, thank you for watching and I will see you next time. Peace out! Blue Blurs for life. Take care.